So this was my first attempt at a sand mandala. I got the inspiration after watching a couple monks working on a giant one. And I thought it looked kind of interesting and fun, so I decided to try it out and decided to try and record it too. So this is my first attempt at it and first attempt recording it. So starting off, you can see I ordered some little tiny plastic bottles filled with different colored sand. And I also started off using a paintbrush. But as you can just saw, I just decided to switch to a chopstick. I felt I didn't like the size and how it felt in my hand with the paintbrush, so that's why I decided to give chopsticks a try. So after watching the monks, they got this weird device that seems to be utilized just for doing sand mandalas. And I was looking around on the internet for one, and they are not cheap. The cheapest one I found was $40, and that was on sale. The original price is usually about $80. And being this my first time, I didn't want to spend that much on something I was trying first off. So I decided to give this a try. And as you can see, I've already made a mistake going in. Looking back at this and watching it, I should have tried doing the paintbrush with this, using the actual brush itself. But that method worked well enough, and I learned doing this. Being my first time, I realized doing it on the tablecloth wasn't the greatest idea, and also the paper had gotten wrinkly. So as I was trying to scrape that red part off, the warpedness in the paper from just itself and from the tablecloth kind of made the sand jump around, as I'm sure you could tell. And that's why it was so hard to scrape away. But using the chopstick on the little container worked pretty well. The tapping it just helps the sand come out at a nice rate, and because otherwise it's kind of like you get overflow or too much pours out or not enough. And that's what the device the monks use is. It's kind of like a little something called a guiro. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, maybe not. Where you kind of just slide this stick across some rib grooves in the little instrument. So I was trying to emulate that as best as I could, and this is working out fairly well in my opinion. Now some of the containers, like this blue one, aren't cut the greatest in the tip of the nozzle, so some of the flow out of some of them isn't the best. But for my first attempt, I felt this method worked out fairly well. And also with the bend in the paper, it's also hard to spread it out with the chopstick. So I think again, next time I'll keep that brush on hand so I can use the brush to kind of spread things out instead of the tip of the chopstick like that. And I know this is sped up, but I was already at this point where I was starting to feel tired. I think this is about halfway through and can already feel the tiredness in my arms and hands, and at this point I thought I had messed up on the pattern that I was working on currently. I had to pause for a couple of moments to see if I had messed up on where I was placing that color. Yeah, I was kind of at this point already like starting to get frustrated at only being about halfway done, so I was like kind of just not pouring the best. I was just trying to finish it up, but trying to be in the right mindset of halfway done, just keep going, keep working on it. I was trying to gauge on what colors I thought would go well together, and also I hadn't planned it out ahead of time, so I was just kind of looking at what colors were already out and what I thought would go well with what was going on at the moment. And at this point, with the color red, I kind of felt like the little circles were starting to look like Pokeballs, but they're not. They're not Pokeballs, so Nintendo, don't sue me. I bet you didn't think we were gonna get into politics with this video, huh? So again, I'm getting closer, so even though I'm getting really tired in my hands and arms, I'm just trying to push myself through and remind myself I'm getting closer. And I also hadn't realized at this point that I had bumped the camera, so it's going to be a little off center. I can see I'm starting to make mistakes because I'm getting tired. Was kind of slowing down again to see if I was making another mistake on where I was placing the patterns. Here I'm just trying to decide what colors to go with, and decided to go with this dark green because I kind of thought it looked like grass, so that would be a nice border color for the whole thing. Another thing I liked about my method, it might change up in future ones, but with the flow of the sand coming out, it kind of gives it a little dipply effect throughout the design, which I kind of liked. How it wasn't all just an even thing. It has that little dimply effect throughout. To me, I kind of like that. And right there I messed up again, so I'm just going back, and at this point I was just kind of, I'm done, so just put the color right over it. So here at the end, I just have a couple of still shots of the finished project, just from a couple different angles, just to show off the little texture of it. Thought it was cool looking. And the last picture is a picture of all the sand that I dumped out into a jar. I tried to get a video of it, but I messed up on both of these shots, unfortunately. So I just decided to just take a picture to show you guys. If I do more of these, I'm planning to dump all the sand into this jar and just keep adding to it for all the pictures I do, and for the next ones I'll definitely make sure I can get one shot of it at least of me pouring into it. Alright guys, thanks for watching, appreciate it.